geoholic.
Remember,
you're pointing at me. When
remember,
you point at me, does that mean go?
Me pointing at you means start
Oh,
speaking.
okay.
There was a
You
couple
gotta
of
remind
points
me.
though. I thought he was counting
There's been a
down.
lot of pointing the last couple of days.
Yeah, I know.
Pictures pointing, you're pointing, you're pointing.
It's only the
Everybody's pointing.
10th of these today, so.
I know. Yeah, this is awesome. All right, we've got James with us. So, James, real quick, if you would, just name who you're with and what you do.
So my name's James Richards. We have a family business in the south of England. We do like topographic surveying, underground utility surveying.
Okay.
Drones, measured surveys. Just a lot. And we're going into CCTV and jetting now as well. So
Nice.
yeah, busy.
Nice.
You said
nice.
CCTV and what?
Jetting.
Of the lines?
Yeah, jetting
Okay.
of the sewage,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
nice. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
So, you said it's a family business?
Family business, yeah.
How
So,
He hasn't said what it's called yet, though.
Yeah.
benchmark
Come
surveys. Sorry, yeah. Benchmark surveys, yeah.
Awesome. So, being a family business, how many generations in are we at this point?
So it's my mum started it in 1995.
Nice.
And then I've come on board, and now my brother's on board now. So
Cool.
So,
Is your mum a surveyor?
Mum's a surveyor, yeah.
I got to meet her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, your mom's a surveyor, you're a surveyor, your brother's a surveyor.
Yeah.
So, what is it like to become a surveyor in the UK? What does that process look like?
It's difficult at the moment.
Yeah.
I would say really difficult. There's not many. My mum went to uni, studied actual land surveying.
Yep.
So I think we're losing touch a little bit with actually what is a surveyor at the moment.
It's a great
Because
question.
the courses over there are like a geomatics or a
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that course. And
So
we
you
sort
can
of
go
cover
on-
the other areas.
The Surveyors Association have a course, and they do like a 2-year course, and you can go away in block weeks, and
Yeah.
you go away and you can become, but you don't need to do that.
That's more just gives you a certification to do certain
Yeah,
stuff. It's not a real like diploma or
it
it is a diploma
Yeah.
sort of level. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you don't need to do that to survey in England. You can just start. Anyone can start.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You can just do whatever really. And I think it's hard. Everyone just falls into this industry at the moment.
Yep.
There is no. I think. Well, going back to my mum, she fell into it kind of, but then it's nice to because like a woman in the industry back then, it probably wasn't a thing. So
No.
then becoming an actual land surveyor, I'm really happy that I've fallen into it. But it's just difficult for people to know what the job is, I think.
Yeah. But is there like certain years of experience? You have to take exams, that type thing, in order to be registered or licensed to do certain things?
You don't need to do that, not in the UK, but it's advised, and you can
Gives
join.
more credibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you have a land cadastre or how do your boundaries work over there? And that's where does that registration thing come in for that side of it?
Yeah,
or?
so there's like the charterships in the UK, so you can become chartered, and that's kind of like letters after your name, and you're seen as like high regard really in the surveying industry. But like I said, in the UK, you don't need to do that. So you can go and do boundary surveys. It's a big issue in the
That's
UK.
a concern.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you take issue with that, or does it seem to work out okay?
I think it works out okay, but it's a backward way of doing it.
Yeah.
Land registry in the UK is so poor compared to other parts. Like I see photos of the guys in America, and they find when they dig and have is it a monument?
Yeah, the
Like a section
monument
corner. Yeah.
And I'm like, in England, why have they not done that? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
But there's a 1,000-year difference in
age,
in age, right?
Yeah. But even more reason that they should have something like that. No, you think the opposite?
I know. I think the opposite. I think that we're lucky to, as you'd like to brag, all the founding fathers in America were surveyors, so they set it up the right way. In the UK, there are no founding fathers. It was, a billion years old, and there was an actual rock. Then it probably moved, and they just didn't have that. They probably knew what they knew and took it over, right?
Yeah.
It's really poor how you register the land. In the UK, you get this really thick red line around your property boundary, but it doesn't really demark what
exactly
it is.
where it is. So you have no monuments in the street or anything, or
survey markers in general?
No.
Oh,
You just have your boundary walls, or you have. interpretation comes into it. All the time. It's a really difficult part, and actually we don't do land registry surveying anymore back home out of choice because you just waste so much time. It just
sounds like it.
So what does your family business company do instead?
So we do topographic surveying, so anything pre-construction really.
Okay.
Underground mapping of all the utilities. It's just anything pre-construction really, from really, really small extensions on a bungalow to thousands of homes. Map the fields, things like that. Yeah.
So there's still a lot of development happening.
Loads. Yeah,
awesome, very cool.
You mentioned drones before as well. Are you using those a lot more to do your topo surveys and stuff?
More in a visual aspect for the client, I would say. We're still GNSS on like a quad bike. I much prefer using that rather than drones because it just takes a long time to process and things like that. They are great tools, but we've had a LiDAR one in this week actually, using LiDAR to map some really difficult areas. So, we are using it in combination really.
So what's your what's the connection being here for Trimble Dimensions?
So I post a lot online. I put a lot of photos up, a lot of videos of what I do, and I think it's good. A lot of people are engaged with it and things like that. So Trimble, we're long users of Trimble. So they invited me over a couple of years ago, but I had a son at the time, so it just didn't work out. So I couldn't come. So giving me the opportunity to come over and meet everyone, it's been amazing so far.
Can I just talk about that online, because you do post a lot? Do you get a lot of interaction from non-surveyors?
Yeah, and there's a girl that I used to go to school with, and her boyfriend saw my posts, and he now works for us.
Oh, wow!
So,
okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of getting people in the industry and try and actually understand what a land surveyor is. It's very much one of those things. No, like I got friends back home, they just think I go in a field and take photos. And that's literally like, no one understands. So.
No one understands.
But some people actually don't realize that. That's maybe a simplistic way to look at it, but that's a career. I mean, you do a lot more technical stuff, but you get to go out into a field and take pictures, and that's better than, I don't know, some people would think is better than some jobs.
Yeah. I just think it needs some like authority. When you say I'm a land surveyor, it's a really important job. Like really important, but I don't think people are confident in saying I'm a land surveyor anymore because there's not many courses or things like that. You're losing that identity a little bit,
or people don't think it's important anymore.
Exactly.
Or they just don't know. Like you said earlier, they don't know.
Over there, I can understand why they don't think it's important.
Really?
Like, well, I mean, we have our boundary structures and everything remains on that, but they don't have that over there in that sense. So anybody can pick up a drone, anybody can pick up a GPS and walk around, and they might not be getting.
We can do that here too. There's maybe
you
a little
you
more
could get in trouble.
more professional shame involved, but you can still do it.
But you have the cadastre in place, so you need the registered surveyors.
I think surveyors are held in high regard in Australia. Wouldn't you say?
Well, those that know about us.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, it's like a respected profession.
It is, because we push the boundary side of it.
Yeah. There you go. That's one of the differences.
Boundaries is only a small part in what we do. That boundary surveying is small. Yeah. You can specialize.
I understand
in that
why.
Home, you can specialize in it, but it's not massive. It's not a massive aspect of what surveying is for us in the UK, I don't think.
Are you seeing a lot of the same adaptation of the drone and geospatial technology in the construction and on the contractor side? Yeah,
I think it's boys and the toys at the moment.
Yeah,
I think it's just like get as many toys as you can. And then which has been great because it's evolving all the time.
Sure.
Something I've spoken about in the past is I'm only 31, but in the last 10 years from where I've been surveying, it's just changed. It's crazy. I sound like an old man.
Right.
That's my point. Is that I just sound so old. I'm like I started. It was,
back in my day.
Yeah.
You don't know what at what point you went from a young person in this business to an old person, but it has happened.
It has happened. Yeah. It has happened.
Yeah. On that note, what do you love about surveying?
Just being out. I love it. Every day is a challenge, and I think it's a profession that you just continuously learn. Every single day is a new thing. You're learning and you're learning and you're learning new equipment, meeting new people. And like underground utilities has been my thing, and I'm really, really interested in learning loads more with that and going really in depth. So I've reached out and got some like books and things like that, and I'm going through all of that at the moment. Yeah. Just really delving into what GPR is, and it's just great. I can always learn, and it's every day's a challenge, and that's what I enjoy the most.
Yeah. Well, how can people find out more? How can they find you?
So let's just search Benchmark Surveys anywhere, really. Look on Instagram. I've actually got a podcast coming out in the next couple of days. I'll be releasing called.
Nice. That's amazing. We are very much supporting of that.
The Benchmark podcast, that would be called. So
cool.
That comes out in a couple of days.
Awesome.
So yeah, amazing.
You got a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to meet you.
Yeah, lovely.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Thanks, James.
You got a couple more in you?
I got a couple more in.
That's about it.
It has been a good day.
It
so
has.
far.
Can you believe it? What time is it? It's already 4:00.
I know.
What happened to the day?
What do they say? Time flies, right?
Yeah, when you're having fun. It's been a fun day for sure. And I have a feeling we're going to have a fun night too.
I have a feeling too.
There's a lot going on tonight. Definitely. All right, we got a couple of guys here from Bennett and Bennett. Real quick self-introductions. Just name. Obviously, you're with Bennett and Bennett, but what you do there?
My name's Dean Warren. As you said, with Bennett and Bennett, and I'm a senior surveyor on the Snowy Hydro 2.0 project.
Snowy Hydro 2.0.
We're learning more about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, and my name's Paul Cracroft-Wilson, and I am a partner and project manager at Bennett and Bennett.
Awesome. So where do you guys, obviously from Australia, where do you live in Australia?
I live in Northern Rivers, New South Wales, in Ballina. So
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And yourself?
I'm up in the Gold Coast.
Okay.
An hour south of Brisbane.
Nice. I've not been to Australia, but I have got to get there. I hear it's incredible.
We hear a lot about it from our friend.
We have some invites. We should take advantage of it.
We have plenty of invites.
Yeah.
We just need to make the trek.
Yeah. So this project sounds really intriguing. That's one of the reasons we have you guys on here. Can you talk about it a little bit, just so high-level stuff? What's going on there?
So it's essentially building on the original Snowy scheme. So it's linking two dams together via underground tunnel, 27 kilometres of underground tunnel.
Wow. Whoa.
And it's basically creating a closed, recyclable, renewable energy source.
That's unbelievable. So what is creating the energy? Is that the dam portion of it?
Yeah, so the storage of water, so releasing water down the pipeline, travelling down and then going through turbine generators, creating a whole heap of energy storage for Australia and be clean, renewable.
Yeah. And you said it's like one of the largest projects of its kind in Australia?
Correct.
Ever?
Yeah, it is. Ever, yeah.
So it's like a career-defining project for you guys.
Nation-defining.
Yeah, even better.
What percentage? do you have some of the stats on what percentage of the demand this project is going to make up?
So it's estimated to be able to power around 3 million homes over the course of a week. I can't remember
That's
the
incredible.
exact stats on it, but 3 million homes over the course of a week.
Amazing. So what are your individual roles on this project?
So I'm the senior surveyor, so I oversee our crew on site, liaise with the client as well, make sure everything's happening in the way that it's meant to be going.
Yeah. How about you, Bob?
And I'm actually just in the Gold Coast office, separate to this project. So this is Dean's baby.
That's awesome. So what type of projects do you work on there in the Gold Coast office?
Look, we are a multidisciplinary surveying firm. We cover a lot of engineering, building construction, surveying, set out, civil construction.
Yep.
A lot of high rises, hospitals, any built structures we specialise set out in.
Okay.
But at the same time, we also have do a lot of cadastral surveying, land subdivisions, vertical strata tightening. We have town planners, urban designers. We undertake spatial surveys, feature detailed contour surveys, laser scanning, LiDAR surveys.
pretty much everything.
You guys do everything.
Yeah, we do everything.
Yeah. Are you guys one of the larger companies in Australia?
Yeah, I think so. Probably in the top 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Size-wise.
How big is the company?
We have about just a touch over 200 staff now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's solid. So that's solid survey business there.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your what's the draw to come to Trimble Dimensions? What brought you guys here?
Just to keep up. Yeah. Just to see what everyone's doing and look at all the new technology. We like to stay at the forefront of innovation, and we want to be leaders, and just talk to people, find out what everyone's doing, and just immerse ourselves.
Yeah. Perfect. Great answer.
So, Dean, do you have anything that you've learned so far here that you're going to take back to the project team?
Besides, this town never sleeps.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I should say at the conference that you've learned.
Nothing in specific that I can, just draw off the top of my head. But no, as Paul said, it's just good to get around and see what everyone else is sort of doing and how they're doing it, I guess, as well. Even outside of the direct line of work that I'm sort of doing at the moment. So
yeah. So you going back to the project you're working on, you said there was how long was the tunnel?
Or is it going to be about 27 kilometres?
And how far down is it?
The lowest part, so the power plant will be close to 800 metres underground, about 750, 800 metres underground.
That's insane.
Yeah. So that'll be about the difference in elevation from the high point to the low point.
Okay.
And I'm guessing it's called the snowy scheme because it snows there. It
does snow there, yeah. So in winter, I can get down to, in the highest peaks, around minus 20 degrees Celsius. So the Americans, I think it's about negative 10 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But then also in the summer, it gets up to about 40 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. So it's got quite the extreme. On both ends.
So you're capturing a ton of runoff water. That's the idea.
Yes,
here.
correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The original snowy scheme actually started in 1949, and its idea was to move water from, the highlands or the west over to the east, mainly for irrigation purposes.
Okay.
But they did also include, the power generating capabilities in that as well. So this is just, I guess, the next chapter or the next stage of it.
Yep.
And then really capitalising on those dams.
Yeah,
already made.
And what % complete is this project?
Good question.
Maybe a better way to ask.
What's the project? Maybe around 30%.
What's the duration?
Are you going to see it complete in your lifetime?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, practical completion is set for December 2029. So it's still a few years away. All right. That's PC.
I should have said career, not lifetime. Sorry.
I hope so anyway.
That's awesome. What else? What else you guys want to get out there?
I don't know. What do you want to know?
What are the challenges surveying in Australia? Obviously, depending on where you're located geographically, there's different challenges. But do you experience a lot of the same things we experience here as far as shortage of labor force and things like that?
Definitely a shortage of labor and skilled, I guess, is definitely what I'm seeing. We're in a pretty remote location. Mm-hmm. And it's also fly in, fly out work as well, which is also, somewhat difficult.
Yeah.
But definitely a shortage in labour. And I think that's across surveying in general in Australia.
Yeah. That's a global issue. Are you seeing the same thing, Paul?
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to find staff the amount of projects we have that we need more resources for.
Sure.
So,
sure.
Yeah, more surveys.
Do you have many surveyors relocating to Australia from other parts of the world? Do you know any surveyors from the United States that have relocated to Australia and made a career out of it?
I don't know so much about Americans. We do have a few people come from different places, Southeast Asia, Middle East, New Zealand.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. What else you got, Sean?
I was just going to comment a little or ask a question about have you seen a lot of the theme here is kind of there's a lot of contractors at a show like this, and they're really kind of jumping on this digital twin and scanning and drones and kind of jumping on the technology. Have you seen that kind of adopted on some of the projects that you're working on, where contractors are more ready to catch on the technology wave, much like surveyors?
Yeah, I think so. I know we're always trying to be on front of it as well, but yeah, especially with drones on this side as well. Yeah. They use quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think in the building space where I do a lot of work in the high rise, we see a lot of contractors use plumbers and HVAC guys doing a lot of their own set out. It's becoming a lot more user friendly for them.
Yep.
And then you said that's kind of where you guys are experts on, is more of the high rise stuff. Are you finding have to change in your workflows to match what those trades are using?
Yes. They often use our grid lines or stuff that we would often set out already for the builders. So it's not overly changing our workflows, but there might be requests to provide survey control and stuff like that.
I think also what we can provide now is also, a lot more like we typically do on the plumbing now. I feel, or the floor flatness has-gons and all that sort of thing. So I think there's a lot more services that we sort of provide.
Yep.
As opposed to maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. What was I going to ask you? My mind's gone blank. Imagine that this time of day, my mind's gone blank. I don't know.
What's it like building this project? Is that through a national park?
Yes, it's all national park.
Yeah, what? I'm sure that comes with some challenges too, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's places where you can go and where you can't go, and sometimes people like to go where they can't go.
And are you?
It's all pretty good. Yeah,
and are you the guy that has to tell people where they can and can't go?
Nah, it's all pegged up, and that's already been taken care of. But look, it's definitely got its challenges being in a national park, and there's a lot more, eyes on the project because of that, not just because of the scale of it, but because it is in a national park, and then there's quite a lot of guidelines and things that we do need to. Yeah.
Well, in addition to the challenges of surveying that far down, right? Yeah. Are you guys scanning the tunnel?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're using the SX12 with Trimble and Access, and
nice.
Just having that total station and scanner in one, scanning on datum, and a lot of scans, a lot of data coming out of it, and a lot of info has been able to provide it to the on-site engineers.
Yeah. So have you been down that deep?
Yep.
Yeah. What's it like being down there? Is it cold and damp? That's how I picture it.
In winter, it can definitely get cold, especially because the vents are sucking in the air from from up top, so they're pumping cold air in. But to be honest, whether you're 10 meters underground or 800 meters underground, it doesn't really make a difference. Because at the end of the day, you're just in a tunnel, so it's, you don't really realize it, I guess.
Yeah.
It is described as one of the civil engineering wonders of the modern world.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's pretty wild.
What a cool project to be a part of.
145 kilometers of interconnected tunnels. That's crazy.
Wow.
Well, that was the original Snowy scheme.
Yeah. And we now know the guy behind all of it.
I know, right?
Yeah. All right, guys. We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Really great conversation. I'm going to do some research and check this out for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yep. Thanks.
Appreciate you guys coming by.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Always pushing buttons.
I know. That's what I do.
That's all you do. Yeah. That's why you get paid, because you know how to push buttons. And you do know how to push buttons, by the way.
I do, yeah.
Mine especially. Man, okay. This might be the last one of the day.
It might be the last one.
We're going to wrap it up on a high note.
I'm excited.
It's been a long one.
Yeah, it's been a great day, and I'm really excited about
this. Is going to be great. So real quick, if you guys would self-introduction, just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
Sure. I'm Adam Long at SAM. Mm-hmm. Been there for 13 years, and I'm a professional engineer and a professional surveyor.
Nice. One of those guys.
The old combo.
One of those guys, yeah.
1-2 punch.
I'm Airrik Martinez with Sam, and I've been there since 2006.
Wow.
I work in field operations, so I do a lot of training and troubleshooting.
Troubleshooting, okay. There you go. So where are you guys located?
We're both in Austin, Texas.
Austin, right on. Okay. Is it corporate headquarters?
That is the corporate headquarters.
Gotcha. And some longevity. You've been with them for a long time. That says a lot.
Yeah.
So you guys are here presenting on a really cool project. Share a little bit about that project with us. We'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah, so the task was to do 1 centimeter mapping on the entire racetrack plus the paddock area and everything around. And if you think about 1 centimeter mapping, that's not our control. This is like the actual mapping product, right? So all the features, everything, 1 centimeter accuracy.
Yeah.
And I brought a little prop. And I know you can't see this, but
we can see it. Yeah.
So a penny is 2 centimeters. So a radius of a penny is what we had to keep all of our mapping features under.
That's amazing.
So,
and
cool
how extensive is? I mean, how many miles are we, or how many?
So
what's the kind of the area we're talking about here?
The dimension I know the best is a diagonal dimension. It was about 4,000 feet across the diagonal of the project.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
Do you know the total?
I do not know the length. I think it was. I'd be wrong.
Yeah. So how did you guys achieve that? That's a huge task.
Yeah, I mean, it was all back to the fundamentals. I mean, it's all surveying, and in order to meet this 1 centimeter mapping product, you typically look at your error in the mapping product, and your control would be at least half that, right? Mm-hmm. And so we had to figure out, how do we do this control at in a 5 millimeter level measurement.
Yeah.
And so we really bridged back to the fundamentals. We used GPS receivers. It really combined approach. We used GPS, fast static work. We did terrestrial measure rounds using Trimble terminology.
Sure.
And then we did digital levels across every single point. So 130 control points.
Wow.
And it really laid it out in a roadway. It's difficult to you always have to keep network geometry in play, and that specifically means, hey, look, we're going to do this ladder system of control all the way down the roadway and then all the way around the track. And so not just these 180-degree traverses. This is actual 90-degree angles on all of our traverses as best we can.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge. And so how long did it take you guys to do this?
So that's where Airrik steps in. So he spent a lot of time here in Las Vegas, and so he's got the best stories about Las Vegas. Yeah,
there's got to be some good stories about this.
I was here for about a month with the 3 crews that we had out here. So it took about a month.
Yeah, was it a mobile LiDAR exercise?
So we did everything. We did did an aircraft, right? Manned aircraft.
Yeah.
Did the entire site with the aircraft. We did mobile mapping through all the roadway areas.
Yeah.
And then as we were doing the traversing, we also did terrestrial scanning as well.
Yeah. My goodness, how did you manage all those data sets?
It was kind of funny because Nate, who wasn't able to be here, he actually processed the data in TBC, and we specifically kept the point cloud information aside as we're doing the network adjustment on everything, because it was just too much to deal with.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
So back to the field exercise. What were some of the challenges being out here for that month that you ran into along the way?
Well, there's a lot of foot traffic on Las Vegas Boulevard, so we tried to stay off of the boulevard until last. We saved Las Vegas Boulevard for last, and then getting up early in the morning. So people are going to sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. We're starting because come 2 p.m. street's full. You can't run a traverse down the street.
No way.
Oh, sure.
No way.
Did you get any, people asleep on the sidewalk to a centimeter accuracy? Or
I can only imagine some of the things you picked up.
Or did you find anything in the data set that you were surprised about?
I actually didn't see the data set, anything like that in the data set. But we were here during the time period that the NFL was getting ready for their draft. So they were in the way too.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the streets were getting cleaned up for the NFL draft, so there was a lot of police officers and just a lot of machinery in the way and stuff.
Yeah. Wow. So what's the connection with Trimble then? Why are you guys here? Why did you get asked to speak about this?
The project's a big deal. Not too many folks are given the opportunity to work on a high precision project like this, and so we were fortunate enough to do it. And it was quite a challenge, and the whole team for the project was good, and they were appreciative of the precision work that we were doing.
Yeah, I bet.
So, pardon me if it's a dumb question, but why did they want this level of precision on this map?
Who was the end user?
And is it really giving it to the drivers so they can?
There was some virtual reality modeling that was done for the drivers to actually, virtually drive the track.
Yeah.
So all that came into play.
Yeah.
But no, if you think of a racetrack driving really fast, right, you don't want any bumps in the road. Right? So yeah, that was the idea behind it. They had to know where everything was at a high level, and had to just make sure the pavement was smooth.
Yeah. And they had that one mishap, right? Like they hit like the lid of a handhole.
No, it was a manhole that wasn't welded down. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did see that video, and the engineer in me says, you know what, that was not a manhole. A manhole's a much bigger lid than that.
Yeah.
It had to have been some sort of
valve cover,
some
or
sort
something.
of valve cover, or something a little smaller. And so the engineers and surveyors would get that, but the news folks would not pick that up.
Yeah, and I'd be shocked if that would lift up a manhole cover. I mean, there's a lot of force in.
Things are going fast,
They're going fast. There's a lot of what was that Bernoulli principle where you get
something to that effect.
Yeah. So why was the project rewarding for you guys?
I'd say just the challenge of the whole thing, and this is one of those. We seem to get more of these projects as we progress, but there's not too many surveyors who get to work on a really cool project like this.
Great.
So,
and when you were going into it, were you confident that you could deliver what they were asking for, or were there some question marks along the way?
Yeah, a little fun fact for me, I'm an adjunct professor at Austin Community College, and so I teach survey. And so the theory behind all this all made sense, right?
Yeah.
But then you get the pucker factor of actually having to do it.
Absolutely.
Well, that's where Airrik comes in.
Exactly. Yeah, you need experienced field crews to help you.
I was nervous before we flew out because
I bet.
It got up to that point, and I was like, all right, well, it's go time now.
And it's not like one of those projects where you could say, sorry, we got to go out for another month. And I mean, it has a hard deadline, I'm sure.
It was a hard deadline, and the precisions needed to be there, and everything just had to fall in play.
Yeah.
And our aerial folks are waiting for us. Hey, we need the control to finish this processing of this data.
Yeah. How many control points did you say?
It's about 130, 136.
That's incredible. And I like the fact that you said early on in the conversation that just took it back to basics, right?
It
brought it back to the basics.
I mean, that's why we sent Airrik out here, because centering over a point is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's the radius of a penny.
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm off 100th, just centering a point, well, all those control points are connected to that. So.
Yep.
And then talk a little bit about the QC that you went into to I mean, what kind of checks were you having to do? I mean, I'm sure it was a consistent.
You guys know, you ever work with Michael McGinnis?
I know the name.
So he was a GPS trainer, and he had this cool little saying that made sense. And I don't know whether he invented it or not, but he would say, hey, look, what are the chances of you measuring with multiple instruments, different technologies, and getting the same wrong answer?
Yeah.
So we had aerial LiDAR that gave an answer. Mm-hmm. We had mobile mapper that gave an answer. Yep. We had GPS that gave us an answer. We had terrestrial total stations, and then we had digital levels. All of those gave a like what I would call a minimally constrained answer. Yeah. You put them all together, and
you have a level of confidence. Yeah.
So when they match, they're good.
Yeah. Amazing.
And that was the approach from the get-go, right?
Yep. That was it. There was so much going on that we had to use these remote sensing technologies to be able to do it all at once at scale. And the biggest challenge was from the client was, hey, we need quick turnarounds. Right. Well, the only way we can do that is mass data collection. Put it all together, do it all right the first time, and then you've got a greater chance to succeed.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can share this, but who was the client? Was it like the city of Las Vegas? Was it F1? Who really was the end user?
So we were working directly for Kinley Horn.
Oh, okay.
Kinley Horn, the engineer. And they were working for, I forget the name of the company that was a racetrack designer.
Okay.
But,
And talk a little bit, if you can, about the final deliverable. You've got a bunch of different data sets.
Yep.
And how did you prove to them, one, that you covered it all, and two, that you met the requirements?
So it was all a Autodesk Civil 3D deliverable, and so that container, right? So they're there's more modern ways to do this, and Autodesk has more modern ways to deliver it, but they wanted a civil 3D deliverable. And so all that was put into that file format.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. So Airrik, what was your biggest takeaway from working on a project like this?
That I spent way too much time in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's good for a day or two.
Yeah, for a month straight, and I stayed at the link. I stayed on the strip, so it was loud for a month.
Sure.
And then what? So there's a race coming up in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, but I understand that.
And what they didn't ask you to go back and see what's changed since, or
any movement?
Did not, but we'd be happy to do it if they wanted it.
Well, I guess I'll find out in 2 weeks, right?
Just need a month.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Well, great to meet you, first of all, and thanks for sharing the project with us.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Super cool.
Yeah,
It's a very cool project.
appreciate it.
First one of day 3. You're the first one today. How exciting is this? And I am solo. Producer Sean took a flight out this morning. He had to get back to the office, and he had another event this afternoon. So it's just me. So you're gonna have to bear with me. But I'm excited to have this conversation with Claire. Claire, if you would, really quick, just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
My name's Claire Fenwick, and I run a land surveying firm in the UK, just outside of London.
Okay.
But I also have 2 hats. I have another hat, and I am the Survey Association President in the UK, of which the Survey Association represents about 230 companies across the country.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about your company first. What's the name of the company that you work for?
My company's called Spatial Dimensions, and we specialise in land surveying, measured building surveying, and 3D models. Gotcha.
So I've heard of measured building surveying before. What exactly is that? Is it almost like an as-built of a building?
Yes,
kind of.
Very much so. So a lot of refurbishment projects need an as-built before it goes over to architects to design jazzy designs.
Yep. And what is it like surveying in the UK? Are the records really good, or?
No, they're awful.
They're horrible. That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like boundary surveying is hard there, right?
Because really hard to prove. Really, man and his castle. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But because of the ordnance survey goes back such a long time ago.
Yeah.
They're either lost plans or they're very, very old plans.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
So how do you approach something like that? How do you reestablish a boundary? Is there like existing survey markers that you tie into and helps you to rebuild the boundary? How does that work?
Not really. There is an existing network, but obviously technology and GPS has taken over on that. We stay away from resetting out boundaries and try to mainly you want most things to settle outside a court and become an agreement between 2 neighbours, which is the hardest thing, but it's a really difficult thing to prove sometimes. Sometimes it's easy, obviously. Sometimes there is reasonably accurate plans, but it is a tricky one when we the size of our country is nothing compared to here, and we're fighting over a tiny bit of land when the line on the bit of paper that it was drawn on is actually huge.
I envisioned there being like just walls that have been there for 1,000 years, right? And it's like who's going to dispute that wall that's been there for 500 years? That has got to be the boundary, right?
Yes, exactly. But you'd be surprised the people that
people still want to argue.
Yes,
That's funny. So, is there in the UK? Are you like a licensed surveyor? Do you have to go through a process to become a professional or a certified surveyor?
So, not exactly. So you can trade a business or become a surveyor just by training in-house. If you want to or ever need to go to court, for example, for boundary surveys that we were just talking about, you do have to be an RICS, so a Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. We also have the Chartered Engineering Surveyors as well. And then we also have the TSA, part of their company is the survey school. So it's very specific training for land surveyors. But education and training is a huge thing in the UK. All our universities are unfortunately shutting their sort of geospatial courses. We only have one left in the whole country that has one course. And
one course.
One
Oh
course,
my
literally.
gosh.
So we're quite new. We're getting apprenticeships that you can send your staff on away on blocks, sort of thing. That's becoming much more popular, I think, because of the cost of a degree in the UK is an absolute fortune.
Really?
So I think it's better for some youngsters to go out and do it in blocks, and their companies will pay for them. That's becoming more popular. But I don't know what it's like here, because we have a huge shortage of surveyors.
I was just going to ask you that.
Massively
huge. We're the same way.
Most of the population are quite old, heading towards retirement, and they are desperately trying to get youngsters into the profession, but are finding it really hard.
I was going to say, how are you doing that?
Yeah, just because everyone individually trying, from everyone's companies, visiting schools, colleges, universities, but it's really hard. And I think it's the best job in the world. I literally travelled the world surveying. I worked my way up from a surveyor to own my own company. It's, never stopped me, had lots of opportunities, something different every day. Yeah, I don't know why. There's loads
couldn't
of
agree with you
not
more.
Coming in, I just don't understand.
I know. It's mind-boggling. I'm assuming you know Elaine Ball.
I know Elaine very
Ball,
well.
Yeah. I've known Elaine for a very long time, and she does a lot, obviously.
Yeah, the Get Kids into Survey campaign's amazing. I also met Trent yesterday. Who's over here. Doing a great job. And we need beacons like that, definitely.
Yes,
over.
Exactly.
It makes a huge difference to get the message out.
Yep, I agree. So talk about the association a little bit that you're president over.
Yes, that's right. So we represent just land surveyors. So the other two organisations I mentioned cover all types of surveying. So quantity surveying, building surveying, where we just concentrate on, the geospatial sector. So it's very much a reasonably small community, compared to this huge community here. But it's a great place where everyone can come together, talk about their problems, the positivities, what we can do as a whole profession to, try and get kids, trying to improve our costings, trying to all get aligned, anything like that. It's a great place to come, and it's a membership. We get like group insurances, anything like that to get together to make our life easier. So it's very, very important to us in the UK, because there's nothing that compares to that, really.
Are the surveyors really good about being willing to work together? There's some challenges.
Yes, definitely. There's some challenges.
Yeah.
Some people are very, very close to the idea, very, very close to the ideas, and others,
welcome
getting together. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's enough work in the UK for everybody. Construction is one of our biggest things in the country. So there's plenty of work out there. So some companies do really well at working together, sharing work across the country, sticking together, which is obviously the best way to be. But you always get the ones.
Then you get those old stubborn
secrets.
Surveyors that just keep it close to the vest, don't want to share anything. I totally understand.
Exactly.
So it sounds like the economy in the UK is doing well, and there's a lot of development happening.
Yes, there is. We're trying our best. We're getting more and more members every year, because they know the importance of trying to keep up with things, trying to keep up with the news, and sticking together, because everybody's aware that there's not youngsters coming through, and when things get difficult, it's always good to talk to other people that are in a similar situation just over the other side of the country. And how do you do this? How are you working through this? How do you get youngsters to stay on? How do you encourage them in? And just listen to what other people are doing, so that we can spread the word around the country. But it's really interesting to hear that it's the same here too.
Oh yeah,
it's really
the same everywhere in the world. We talk to surveyors from all over the globe, and all of them have the exact same concerns.
Wow. And lots of people that I speak to fall into the job. They didn't necessarily.
Everybody falls into it. Exactly. How about you? How did you get started? Same
totally
thing?
fell into it. Yep. Totally.
Was it like one of your parents a surveyor or anything?
No, not at all. I just I did a degree in graphic design, so nothing to do with surveying. And then I went away travelling, and decided that I didn't want to be stuck in an office, and I didn't want to be doing the same job every day. That was my criteria. And I just saw a job advert in a paper that shows how old I am, in a newspaper. And I saw this job, it's got I love property and buildings, and they're going to retrain me on the job. And it says that I'm going to work outside a lot and possibly travel.
And you're like,
I thought,
bingo.
I'll be in. And I tell you what, when I stood on a construction site, or I was wading for a river, in the freezing cold, I thought I had no idea what I was getting into when I chose this job. But, you know, looking back, I absolutely love it. And it's been very, very positive for me.
Great.
So
I love hearing that.
Back. But everyone I speak to is either a family business, you know, that's handing down, or they've come in from engineering, or they just come from somewhere else and found geospatial and then fell in love with it, you know.
So interesting. And I got to ask you, I mean, obviously being a woman in a male-dominated profession, did that present some challenges for you, or not really? It's just, I think it all depends on how you handle yourself, obviously.
Exactly. So yes, it's had its challenges along the way. I think being taken seriously sometimes, especially when I first went into business, and, you know, being questioned about who else is in the business and where did you come from and your background. But mainly it's done nothing but be good for me. I stand out from the crowd for a start, so lots of people know who I am. You know, I've learned most things I know about surveying from men. You know, they've been the most helpful, great mentors. I would love to encourage more females into surveying, but I do know it's difficult. Again, any females we have, it's hard when you have children. It's a very difficult time to keep people on. But the world's changed so much, hasn't it? It's, you know, flexible working hours, working from home where possible, hopefully is going to keep females in, the few females that come in. But yeah, I've met quite a few females here today that I've known
there's
over
a number
the
of them.
internet.
Yep, for sure. So, in you being president of that organization, that gives you great exposure, right? I mean, that's nothing but a positive thing.
It is, it's an absolute privilege. So, it's just my first year, and you can be president for up to 3 years if they re-vote you in, so you never know. It might be shortened. But it's been a great opportunity to find out about surveying as a whole, you know, not in my little corner of the country, to find out what's going on across the whole country, talk to lots of different people, you know, get more exposure to people, and just try to work as a big group together to get the word out there. That's basically what we're trying to do. You know,
so let's say you get 3 years in this position. What are you hoping to accomplish over the next 3 years?
So we've got vision statements. One of them is that every young person will know that land surveying exists as a career.
Love it.
That's our first one. You're going to test me now on all three. The other one is that, I'm trying to remember what they are now. Can you cut this bit out?
Yeah. No, it's fine.
I'm trying to remember what the other two are. So every young person knows about land surveying.
That's it. Like, if you can accomplish that one alone,
if we can
you've made a huge step.
Exactly. Oh, another one is, we will help you build a better business. So what we find is a lot
so you provide
surveyors,
resources. Yes. Because surveyors normally aren't really good at business.
Exactly. That's exactly what we find. And, you know, a lot of the companies in the UK are tiny. You know, they're even like, you know, 1 or 2 man bands. So we provide, you know, all the documentation for health and safety, guides to every type of service, and it's an absolute gem. I mean, they are downloaded by the thousands every single week.
That's great.
By everything, schools, companies, clients, surveyors. So that's vital.
And that information is available on the website then?
It is, it's available on the website.
What is the website address?
So the website address is, I'm going to find that out on my phone.
That's great.
I'm giving you some editing to do.
No, you're good.
1 second. Let me just quickly pull this up.
I'm going to look it up right now, too.
All right, so it is tsa-uk.org.uk.
Yep, I just looked it up. Survey Association. Yeah, this is a great website. Tons of resources here. This is great.
Exactly. It's just been redeveloped, actually, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, because I've been on here before, and it wasn't this nice, to be honest with you. Yeah, you guys definitely improved this website.
Upped our game. Definitely upped our game.
Yep. So tsa-uk.org.uk. That's what we got.
That's the one.
Awesome. What else, Claire? Anything else you want to get out there? It's been a great conversation.
No, just thank you to Trimble Dimensions.
Right.
It has been an awesome 3 days.
It
really
sure has.
It's been, everyone I've spoken to has been so passionate, so fun, so happy to be, you know, all together here. It's really been eye-opening to me. I've never had so many people in one room.
I know it.
For breakfast, never mind, you know, all to do with geospatial. It's been a real buzz.
For sure. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for your time.
You too. Thank you so much.
So this is going to be our wrap-up conversation. How about that? You guys like that idea?
Love that. Perfect.
Who do we got with us? Go ahead. Introduction real quick.
My name's Tate Childers. I've been here before, at least a couple times. Or I've been on the Geoholics.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm part of Young Surveyors Network in Arizona.
Nice.
I actually formerly used to work for Kent.
True.
And still do work for Sean. And so I'm just glad to be here.
Part of the fabric.
First time in Dimensions. Yeah. Friend of the program is what they call it. But
yeah. There you go.
I thought you had to pay a lot of money to be a friend of the program.
Yeah. It's not getting any cheaper.
I'm honorary friend of the program, I guess. Yeah.
I'm Mike Walle from Denn Engineers out of Southern California, and this is my first trip to Dimensions. They let me in. I don't know why, because I'm not a Trimble guy.
That's awesome.
No, it's been wonderful to come and just hang out with like-minded people and share experiences and share tips and tricks and understand what everybody's doing, and maybe we can learn something from each other. So it's a wonderful experience.
It's awesome. That's awesome. It's so funny. We just met finally for the first time in person, and I think I bumped into you last night. You didn't have your hat on.
That's correct.
And like,
I made sure to wear it.
And I'm like, do I know you? He puts his hat on. I'm like, all right, I got you.
Yes. No, I made sure to wear it today just so there's no confusion.
Yeah. It's so funny. All right, well, good.
All right, thanks. William Wing here. William's my in trouble name, so
there you go.
Go by Will. But I've run Infinity Land Surveying out of Phoenix, Arizona. We also cover New Mexico. This is the third Dimensions I've been to.
Nice.
The first time at the pit though was yesterday, so I got to go.
Oh yeah. It was pretty cool, right?
Yeah. They let me.
Some cool stuff going on.
Definitely. Yeah, we're usually trying not to get hit by that equipment, so it's nice to be able to get in and see what the driver's seat looks like.
That's funny. What do you think about all like this autonomous stuff going on?
It's pretty impressive. Crazy. Yeah, they had a machine out there that would dig the trench and lay the pipe itself with nobody in control.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you see
when you say nobody controlling it, you mean like there's just nobody in the cab? There's somebody autonomously controlling it, like somewhere else, or is it like, hey, I'm smarter than you and I'm going to dig this hole and put the pipe in?
It knows where the pipe is. It knows where it needs to dig it, and it digs it, grabs the pipe, drops it in the hole.
It's insane. Like
so maybe it's like pre-planned or something.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
And then they have a little vehicle, 4-wheeled vehicle with 4 GPS units on it, a scanner, and a camera. So it's kind of like the on-site construction manager, right? You've got all this autonomous things going. This they can actually drive around the site, get a scan, get quantities, check the depth of holes, check as built it as it's being autonomously dug. It's wild.
Yeah. Make sure an excavator doesn't roll into that deep ditch.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Was that the cat guys?
Yes.
Is that who was doing that?
Yep.
Yeah, and I saw like the guy was like controlling one of the machines like in another state.
Yes.
From like his laptop here type thing. It's like, this is insane what's happening.
Yeah.
It's changing. It's going to change the profession as well. I mean, however you want to look at it, good, bad, or whatever, but it's going to change. It's going to change our jobs.
Oh yeah. It already is.
Mm-hmm.
It already is.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Tate? What's your takeaway so far?
I mean, it's just remarkable all the stuff that Trimble has. I mean, as a surveyor, we know what we know about Trimble products, but just all the other stuff that they have, like I'm not very familiar with like mobile LiDAR and stuff, and just seeing stuff like that.
Yep.
And all of like the software solutions that they have, and they're always trying to grow. Like they have, they got just like project management softwares and stuff like that, like more than just the survey stuff that everyone's familiar with, and they're always trying to grow it. And I've heard from everyone that everything keeps getting better and better every year. So it's all super impressive for sure.
Yeah. Well said. Not bad for a young guy, huh?
Very
Sounds
sharp,
like he knows what he's talking
young
about.
Man.
So let's see. What about networking? Was it a good experience as far as networking goes?
Yeah, for me, this is it's like a large reason why I come is to network and like you said, share those experiences and learn from other people. I was fortunate enough on Monday night I had dinner with Davey Edwards. And Mike Manta.
Davey's awesome.
And
great guys.
Just a great conversation. Education is always going to be at the forefront of Davey's mind, and so. I'm a licensed surveyor in California. I went the experience route, so that's like a little different for him to like grasp and like how is that working for you. But to have those good open dialogues and to share those ideas is awesome. We've got the whole crew here with Farah and Amanda and everybody. So I've been fortunate that everybody keeps me busy and happy,
All the influencers, right?
Yes.
They're everywhere.
Yes.
And you get to see them and interact with them in person. So
I know. It's amazing.
You see the pictures and you see, we all do the same thing pretty much every day. And then when you get to hang out in a non-work environment and just let loose, it's.
Will saw me Monday morning. I was like leaving. I didn't even see him. He said, Mike. And hey, it's in real life.
That's for me. I met so many people that I've known, social media, LinkedIn for a while, but finally meeting them, a lot of them this week.
Yeah. That's awesome. Because you communicate them through social media so much, and then when you finally get to meet them in person, it's like you feel like you already know them, right?
Even the Trimble engineers, the very first open house we had, I was just like a kid in a candy store, just bugging the hell out of them, asking every question I've ever wanted to ask.
Yep.
And so now year 3, they see me coming, and it's like, hey, what's up, Will?
Yeah. Like some of you guys, Will, you're one of them. You guys do so much on social media to promote Trimble. I was talking to Rob Morris, was it Monday night, Sunday night? I can't remember what night it was. It all runs together at this point. But I'm like, when is Trimble going to hire you? Right? You promote them so much and so well. They should be offering you a job at this point,
Right.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool how Trimble brought all the, for lack of a better word, influencers together, for a happy hour, and everybody got together and stuff like that. It was really, really good experience.
Yeah, and I like how all you guys were able to, host the classroom sessions and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it would just be Trimble guys, getting all real technical, but it's really nice seeing it from a user's perspective and showing actual workflows. That's been probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
1,000%.
Yeah, definitely. You get to see their perspective on how they do it, and listening to some of the panel discussions on their come up stories basically, and how they got started and where they're at and where they want to go. It's good. It's a good time and a great way to learn.
Yeah, well, definitely. The fact that it's not all. We're at a Trimble convention, but it's not all about the technical side of things or the software that's being promoted. There's a lot of it that's the connected personal, story and being able to see these people do their thing and how they're navigating their careers, and, to bring them all together in one spot. That's a really
so cool. They did a great job. Definitely. So I guess you come back next time, huh?
Absolutely.
Tate's like, if I can get off of work. If Sean
right, exactly, Sean says I can go on there every year.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing I found interesting this year is I thought it was really focused on construction, right? Lots of construction stuff. Not so much geospatial per se, but really heavy on the construction side. And data management, that was something that everybody talked about that we interviewed for the most part, how we're managing all this data that we're able to collect. It's a challenge. But there's a lot of people doing some really cool things on that side as well.
We're now talking about things in zettabytes.
Zettabytes. That's a word I heard. I didn't even know what it was.
I heard it in the open. I was like, I'm going to have to Google that because I didn't even know that was a thing yet.
Right.
But now not only is it a thing, but I have to be prepared to handle multiple zettabytes of data in my future.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, well, shit, I got to get on this. I might be behind.
Yeah. Thank God for the cloud, right?
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
Nuts. All right. Any last words, Tate?
No, I got nothing. I'm just
great to see you, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on the show. Glad to meet a bunch of great people, and it's been a great trip for sure.
Awesome. Did you get any job offers while you were here?
I did not. No.
All right.
Stayed out of it. That's a good thing about this conference too. People, for the most part, have been staying out of that stuff. Just talking about what's new in the industry and fun stuff like that.
Awesome.
Well, were you trying to find your second employee?
I've heard that's a myth that they don't like to send their employees because they're afraid that they're going to get scooped up by somebody, but I don't see that happening. I don't. I think you should give your employees an opportunity to learn no matter what. If you're doing a good job, you don't have to worry about them leaving, and this is the best opportunity to learn. You're using this equipment every day. You got everybody you could ever want to know to ask, and you get their contacts, and now you've got that cheat code.
You learn so much better together too. When you try to learn something in isolation, you're really stuck, or you can be stuck.
Sure.
But if you've got somebody to bounce ideas off of, that's why we still survey 2-man crews.
Yep.
Right. I could run a 1-man crew if I wanted, but there's somebody out there that's looking at it with you and go, oh, hey, did you think about this? And now we're trading ideas, and you're learning faster, and you're doing a better job. So the all of that ability to do that in a place like this is really great.
Yeah. In addition to the mentoring in that situation, I just left a presentation with Davey, actually.
Yeah, we were there.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were both there? Yeah, that was really interesting, and he's obviously very, very high in education, right? Which I get, it's hard to argue with it for sure, but I do think there's a happy medium in there somewhere. I personally don't think it's a 4-year degree. I like the 2-year degree plus experience. I think that's probably the ideal mix, but everybody's got an opinion on it for sure. Yeah. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, like I said, I have a 4-year degree, but I got it right out of high school. So I always felt like the guys that had been working for 10 years that came back to school got a lot more out of it than I did.
Yep.
Because I didn't have that experience.
Sure.
But at the same time, you take that information and you compartmentalize it, and then the next time you're in a situation that comes up, it comes back to you and you remember it.
Yeah.
But, again, 2-year, 4-year, I think 2 years fine with experience. But I think also maybe you could structure it a little different, like with engineering. You've got structural engineering, civil engineering.
Yep.
So if we're going to do, boundary surveying and construction surveying, maybe separate them a little bit because, boundary is very, very technical and
definitely
there's a lot more going on. You've got geodesy, history, it's just a lot more to take in. And
for
so,
sure.
Yeah. A little bit of both.
Yeah, Tim Birch one time, we had him on the show and he was talking about this very topic, and he's like, one idea is, and it was kind of touched on today, well, you just touched on it actually, you have your core competency exams, right? And then you get a certificate for these specializations like a ALTA NSPS certification, a construction certification, whatever. It just kind of helps you separate from the rest of the pack, so almost like a medical type scenario.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think you touched on something real special though, Will. And this is I saw this pop up on LinkedIn the other day, and it was we obviously in that same session we're talking about growing our talent pool, right? And we're trying to find to fill the gaps in our surveying community, and we consistently reach out to the STEM kids.
Yep.
We're always reaching out to those math and science, but we sometimes forget that like those kids that are like history kids, right?
Yeah.
That are really interested in preserving the history.
Yes.
And they're great at like research and looking at deeds and things like, litigious, the debate club.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to become an expert witness.
Yeah.
And I'm going to really niche myself towards expert testimony.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways to get into this industry than just being good at math, because I'm terrible at math. I've said that so many times this week. I could not have passed my test if I didn't know how to use my HP 35. Like the back of my hand.
Yep.
But I know the principles that go behind it. I'm not lost with it. But I'm not going to sit there and curve counts. They suck no matter when you do them.
Yeah.
But if you know how to do that stuff, the technical side, that's great.
Yep.
If you have an understanding of the fundamentals, that's important. But we can't just consider the people that have an aptitude towards that STEM pathway. There has to be an admission that other people can be good and successful at this as well.
Yeah, 1,000%. So Tate's, background's interesting. You've got a degree.
I'm 30 days away from my bachelor currently.
30 days right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
gotcha,
December 13th,
Yeah.
as long as I don't fail anything.
Yeah, and that's through
East Tennessee State.
Yeah. And you've been very happy with that program?
Yeah. So after I'm pretty much done now. I think I stand with you. I think 2-year degree is probably optimal. There's a lot of classes that have been beneficial, but there's been a lot of classes that it feels like we're kind of repeating the same stuff from a couple of years ago.
Right.
But like, geodetic science, photogrammetry, that stuff's all good to know, like in a classroom setting,
Yep.
So I think there's probably two years worth of good classroom stuff regarding surveying that I think that's probably optimal.
Yep.
If education is the answer, I think 2 years is probably the max.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens for sure.
Yeah.
And Davey being president of NSPS now, I think he's going to do a really good job with that.
Definitely.
For sure. He's awesome. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Wrap it up. Big party tonight.
Yeah.
I'm on a flight at 6:40. I'm so tired. This week is exhausting.
I'm exhausted.
There's so much input, for like 3 days. I'm like, you're on the whole time because you're trying to network and you're trying to understand, do everything that you can. And then I'm gassed. I can't wait to get home.
You're on a flight at 6:40 tonight?
6:40 tonight.
Mine's 6:40 in the morning. I'm messed up.
I'd be changing that one.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. It's been great.
Yes, thank you.
Ken.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure.